Yo, yo, yo! What's going on? What's going on, baby? How y'all doing? Dude, my apologies for being a few minutes late. I had a little computer issue. But now I'm back in the game, baby. I'm back in the game. Nothing like a little Control-Alt-Delete for the soul. Let's get to work. We got things to do. How's everybody doing? Let me make sure everybody gets in okay. Just steel. The real steel. Steel of gold. Balls of steel. Man, you could go endlessly. With a name like that, you're going places. You're going places straight to the top, baby. Maybe governor. Maybe even a little El Presidente. You should never, don't sell yourself short, buddy. You're going places. Now let's get to work here. Let me make sure everybody gets in okay. And dude, we're going to go out and do what we got to do. All right. Who do we got in here today? Hey, Bachu.
Oh my God.
All right. Cool. Let's do this. All right, let's do it, people. I think everybody's in okay. So first of all, we've got a Gappy McGee in the markets again. This is going to be, we have reached all sorts of interesting levels now. From the bottom, we're up officially about 10%, which is, it's a heck of a move. This is a V-shaped bounce. You don't always get these, right? So usually there's probably not a double bottom, but one kind of shakeout scare. A shakeout scare like we had over here, but like a little bit later into it. And we haven't had that yet. And so that gives me just a small bit of pause on the market. And because we're just getting so extended as we rise into this kind of 50-day moving average. Now, overall, I mean, the bullishness is the bullishness, right? So, we can look at things and say like, wow, we're extended or this or that, or you can say like, this is going on, that going on. But the price action is telling us that, the news is good, that things are happening, right? So we've had multiple pieces of inflation news out from the PPI and the CPI that have come in favor of the bulls. And so that's kind of sending up this market in anticipation of some rate cuts. So we can't do, much about it except just respect this price trend. If you see here on the SPY, we have remounted and reclaimed the 50-day moving average, which is just a huge spot, right? Whenever you have a market like that tanks like this, and you can go back in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days, right? Basically right back above the 50-day moving average. I mean, that's a huge deal. Now, for the purposes of today, it becomes a little bit tricky, right? Because it's very hard on day 6 of a move to chase a 1% gap up in the SPY, right? On day 6 of the move to chase a 1.2% gap on the QQQs. So we have two different things that's happening. On the bigger picture, this is very bullish action that we're seeing, and we can't discount it. We have to respect it and say like, hey, man, the bulls have won this battle so far, and we got to play along with that. But on a shorter term basis, for the purpose of today, things are a little bit more dicey, right? On the purposes of today, we have to come in and say like, all right, we can't chase the market. We can't chase the market on a day 6 of the move. And so what we need to do is have some type of intraday pullback at some point if you're going to try to play to the long side. It may be really tricky to even try to play to the short side unless you're maybe trying to short into the 50-day moving average for a day trade or so. Respect the channels that are coming. So we're just kind of in a channel right now. And so this channel right here will be kind of the key to it. So what I like to do is just take a little bit of an hourly chart, right? and just right kind of draw out where the levels are. And so you can kind of just see we're just kind of back and forth. So if you notice here, it's pretty orderly. Like it's just like if this is a stock and it was just kind of trending higher like this, right? You wouldn't read too much into it. You say, wow, that's like a nice little trender grinder that's happening here. That's pretty good, right? And so till like this kind of breaks down, you're probably, it's probably going to be a tricky short. Or if you just get a blowout. So what I mean by a blowout is if you have like just some huge, like say today, right? You just have this like huge kind of push and you're up to 2.75%, and you ram right into that 50-day moving average. Then I think, momentarily you probably get a little bit of a snapback. No market goes up straight forever. But usually if you look in the past, kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, right? Like 7 days, 6, 7, 8 days is kind of the max that you get on a push before you get, right? It is not a snapback. It doesn't have to be like some nasty snapback, but you start to get, right, a couple multi-day kind of pullbacks or even rest days. That's probably in the cards and something that we should be prepared for. So long term, fantastic. We are back in the bull for now. On a short term basis, caution, right? Can't chase anything up just in case the market gets faded at resistance. We'll have to be careful on that. Does that make sense? Good. Just gotta have a little bit of, we're gonna have to play this a little bit tricky today. Now, on the other side of things, look, if you're having trouble reading the market, then there's all sorts of earnings plays and PR plays that have been coming out that have been moving kind of irregardless to what's happening in the general market, right? So what we want to probably do is focus today on some good old-fashioned PR plays and, see where we can go with these. So, well, let's take a look. So earnings season is almost over. I think it's like 92% of stocks have reported earnings for this quarter. So we've got just a handful left, and they'll trickle out every day. That's okay. We don't have to, but all the stocks that are moving like post earnings, right? These are the ones that we want to probably focus in on. So let's start like taking a look and see what kind of news plays we have here. If you notice here, you got this GovX going. Guys, the monkeypox has been labeled, I believe, a world emergency by the WHO or something along that end. And so monkeypox stocks are going. Anybody got a few on their watch list? This GovX is usually the one that has got good liquidity. I think what's another one? SIGA, right? SIGA was one. And look at this thing get just nailed. SIGA shares plunge after trial of monkeypox treatment. Misses primary endpoint. Bad day to do that, baby. Which other ones are there? Let's take a look here. I got a list of them here somewhere. One second. I got a list of them here somewhere, but GovX is the one that usually has like all the liquidity in it. Yeah. Let's see here. I got a list of these bad boys here somewhere. I think Birdman posted them yesterday. Let me get this list. Hold on. Boom, 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 boom. Oh. If we go in, there we are. GovX, CMRX, SIGA. Let's kind of get copy and paste this. Look, CMRX, SIGA, CMRX, no movement there. EBS, TNXP, Codex. Yeah, most of these are going to be all trender grinders. And there's some new ones. VRAX, maybe mRNA we'll keep an eye on. All right, let's see. Yeah, none of these are doing any liquidity just yet. You can see, so these are all ABT, kind of moving. So GovX is really the only one, and these things stuck to trade. So if you like small, I'd probably roam around in this because this thing's just a pump and dump anyway. So float's tiny on it. If you like to trade regular things, this is probably just not up your alley just yet. Good. Where in the game here? Now let's take a look here. We got good old light here. Bum, 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 bum. B. Riley, just illuminated price target, blah, blah, blah. Fiscal earnings, sales fall less than forecast, shares jump pre-market. This is probably doable. Not the sexiest location. You got an earnings beat on this bad boy. I think you can roll with this. Its float is only 61 million, so you got probably a little bit of range on this bad boy. Let's dicker and deal on this a little bit here. Let's add this in. I would give this like a C plus kind of earnings play, but let's add it for now. Alta, dun, 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 dun. Dude, this one is a tricky bastard to trade. So Alta is gapping up also on news. Let's see. Shares advance. There's Berkshire Invest. And that could work, but I'm not sure. To see the chart on this one is a little bit tricky. The big problem with this one, the big hairy Indian butt on this bad boy is that it's just trades too thin, right? So you got no. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's probably a weird spot. Let's leave that alone. VRCA. Walmart. Now this we can get behind probably. So Walmart's come out. They've got earnings out. They've actually made some comments too that they don't see any deterioration in the U.S. consumer. Not sure how they came up with that. But you have a picture perfect breakout on here, and you're breaking out to all-time highs. It's kind of interesting, right? It's like out of all the stocks that are running up into 52-week and all-time highs, it's right the old school Walmart that's leading the way. I think we can roll with this. Let's add this one. See if it pulls at the open. This is the thing with Walmart. It just did a split, right? So it's going to have a huge float on this. It's probably not going to be the sexiest mover, but you're going to have probably some locations on this. It should move around pretty good today. I'd add this and see if it does an opening range breakout, or I think the better play would be if it starts to pull back at the open, right? If it pulls back at the open. Hey, guys, don't forget, we got a virtual summit coming up this weekend, too, right? So for those of you guys been watching us in the chat room and stuff like that, too, if you're interested in some of the things that we do beyond just stocks, right? We do futures, we do options. We're going to be starting to dive into like all these kind of different things. So you'll have an opportunity to get a little bit of juice going on some other things. And then we're going to have some other things, some coaches for trading psychology. We're going to have some performance coaches, people that I personally work with. One of them is a student of ours, Agnesia. She's a trading psychologist. And then my business coach, who I personally work with, Dr. Phil Perlman, he's going to be coming on. He's a pretty cool dude. So we're in for a good treat this coming weekend. It'll be pretty much an all-day affair on Saturday. So, you get your laptop out, grab yourself a couple beers, maybe coffee beer combo, and, we'll get to work. And I'll be on the whole day moderating and all that stuff too. So anytime you got questions and stuff like that, I mean, this will be pretty in-depth stuff. And, it's all just my people. So it won't have any kind of fluffy McGee's on this thing. Let's go back and add this Walmart. I think this is going to be right up our alley here. Old Cisco. Old Cisco. This is like old school big tech, right? Like I style. What do we got here? Look at this. Goldman adjust price target. Non-GAAP EPS sales fall less than forecast. Plans jobs cuts. The use. So you see here, boom, 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 boom. Cisco shares trading up over 5%. Non-GAAP earnings at 0.87, down from 1.14. Analysts expected 0.85. Revenue for the quarter was 13, down from 15. That's a no buenos. That's Spanish for no good. You got yourself a little gappy McGee on this one, right over the 200-day moving average. This may actually have a chance on this too, right? You got a little bit of a bottoming play going. Not that many stocks that are near bottoms. A little bit of a slow one, right? So this one is a little bit similar to Walmart in that manner, which is that it's gonna be slow. There's no getting around it. It's gonna be slow, right? But not everybody should be trading fast names anyway. So what I mean by that is that, something like this is probably like if it breaks and holds and starts to set up, it'll be a little bit of a trender grinder. What I mean by trender grinder is that you're not going to get like huge spikes up and down, right? It'll probably be like a very steady eddy as it goes through the day. For 90% of traders, they should probably be trading steady eddies. One of the things you'll find with a lot of traders is that if they change the instruments that they trade and go into something that's just a little bit easier or a little bit slower, their success ratios go from like 1% possibility to much, much higher. I've had a lot of students of mine over the years that, they want to trade the stuff that, XYZ person trades, and it's just maybe too fast or whatever it could be. It's too fast. It requires too much reaction. And, they end up, trading some more steady eddy type of names. And all of a sudden, right, instead of losing trader, they are winning trader. Not as sexy, but hey, right, there's still, you can make a living doing some steady eddies. So get up on the steady eddy trade. TPR, Tapestry Inc. You can add this one too. I don't know how much liquidity it's going to have, but usually does a few million shares a day. Let me see. Drunken Miller bought some Wolf, huh? I'll take a look. So add this TPR. I think this one's got a chance. It's only a 200 million share float. You may get some juice here. You could maybe get this thing up to 44 today. Let's see if it holds. Good. All right. So that's really it on the earnings plays. Let's see if we got anything on the downside. Yeah, see, like stuff like this. These are nice breakdowns here. But the SSR will trigger on this because it's down 23% and it's very illiquid. So when you're kind of shorting like stocks and they've blown up on earnings or whatever it might be, you want to get these ones that are got a little bit more liquidity. All right. Baba. Michael Burry increases Baba stake. Let me take a look at that one. Thank you, brother. Well, let's take a look at that in a second here. All right, cool. Somebody just mentioned old Baba here. Had some news out. They got earnings out. Group holdings, adjusted earnings fall, revenues rise. So this will be I think this is just a tricky location. You're stuck in a sandwich on this thing. And so the thing with Baba is that there's a handful of things that are wrong with Baba. Number one, it's just a thick bastard. It moves so slow. It's not even a steady eddy. It's so slow. So the thing with Baba is because it's in range, you don't even get the possibility of it moving like a steady eddy, where it just kind of grinds up. When you want like a thick stock, like this is a multi-billion share float, you need it to be like above some levels of supply, and then it might be able to move kind of in a steady eddy manner. So I think this might move around today, but I think that we're kind of in this like middle here, right? I think this is a little bit of a middle. This is what they call the penis in between us, right? You're in the the back seat of your buddy's Volkswagen, but you're right in the middle. You're not left nut. You're not right nut. You're not shotgun, right? You're just right in the back, all right, shaking up, right? I'm as a tall man, as a tall, proud Indian man, there's no worse place than sitting in the back seat, but in the middle. The seatbelt thing always gets you in the butt. I mean, it's a terrible thing. And this Baba is very, very similar. Like it's got, you're just in a weird spot. So I think we leave this thing alone. And see what's going on. Now, beyond that, let's roll in, right? Let's roll in deep on this thing. So beyond that, what else we got here? Let's take a look and see, first of all, what kind of news we got here, and then we'll go from there. Now, I'll kind of give you the watch list. We've just been talking in generalities, but we're going to narrow this down into like favorites, right, that we need to actually trade. So let's first look at this, right? You got jobless claims, which obviously must have came okay. Retail sales. So these all came in some manner where the market has spiked up. Right? We got a couple Fed speakers here. These two guys usually say nothing. It's usually old Bostic. Old Bostic is the one that moves the market. Old Bostic he's something, right? So he's the one that usually moves the market. I don't think we got much there. U.S. jobless claims, bum, 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 bum. As you can see here, right? Silver, gold, crushing. Oil, natural gas, crushing. Platinum, crushing. Orange juice for you juice lovers, crushing. And then, right, the Nikkei's been already back. Oh, not all the way, but you've made a significant move here. Now you kind of just left with the kind of dregs of life. Let's see if we got anything here on the upgrade side. Bros. Old Dutch Bros. Dude, Dutch Bros is like, that's a great name for a company, by the way, right? Because you got a couple things going on there. You got Dutch, like Dutch oven, which is one of the most underrated moves, right? For those of you guys that are married or have a significant other, the Dutch oven is like a classic, right? It's a classic American move. It goes back to better. It reminds you of better times, right? The 90s. You got the classic move where, you could still do fun stuff. You could eat Pop-Tarts and people wouldn't judge you, right? You could go to Dunkin' Donuts for breakfast and get yourself a donut and a coffee, maybe even a cigarette, and people just like wave to you and say like, hey, top of the morning to you, right? You can't do those things now. Of course you can't smoke anywhere. Nobody smokes anymore, but you can't even eat donuts, and don't even see any Dunkin' Donuts around anymore because all the Indians graduated to we were running the Dunkin' Donuts show, but now we're CEOs. Like we went from Dunkin' Donuts, dude, Indians, we've made the leap of leaps, right? In those late 90s, we were 7-Elevens, Dunkin' Donuts, and now you see the Indians. We got like blondes. We got blondes. That never happened. Like you would never see an Indian guy with blondes, right? Back in the 90s. We were Dunkin' Donuts, 7-Elevens. Now we're CEOs. We're in movies and shit, and we got blondes, right? My wife is blonde, right? My wife is blonde. It's incredible. Boy, times have changed, right? Times have changed. So the Dutch Bros, going back, bros is a great word, and Dutch oven, also a good word. So, I'm a fan of this company. Chart not so much. Eat got nailed on earnings yesterday. I don't think there's much on this bad boy. Hive, Hood sucks to trade. Hood's one of those things, like in theory, it should be an awesome trader, old Robin Hood, but it just don't got it, right? It just don't got it. So the problem with Hood is like when you buy it, it goes higher like 10 cents at a time, right? So you're just sitting there like, oh man, this Hood looks nice. Let me put it on my day trading watch list. And then you're in it and you're like, fuck, this thing is slow. Yeah, no good. So this is all junk. All right, cool. So let's go back into this. I want to kind of narrow down this list so we have an exact idea and game plan of what to trade. All right. We have two aspects that we got to be careful. I do not think that today you can chase the market up, even though it looks great. All right. I do not believe today you can chase the market up, even though it looks great, and due to the fact that you're on day 6 of the move, right? And you're going to kind of probably come out of this channel here and things might get a little bit froggy. But when you're this close to the 50-day moving average, right? So 472, you can't come in too hard on a bunch of longs, not on a gap up. So if you're on day 5 of the move, but you actually open weak, like say we had opened down 460, 459, 457, then that dip probably gets bought and then people sell into this, right? What's happened is we've stretched this rubber band so much now that we're going to have to be super careful of the locations of things, right? So you got the SPY over the 50-day moving average, which is also really, really bullish, but we're setting up for kind of like some kind of pull here, for a day or two. You don't want to get, you don't want to be caught in this pull, maybe down to the 9 EMA or something along that end. So you'll have to be careful. Now, on the day trading side, it doesn't necessarily matter. When you're day trading and you chase something up, if you've got a tight enough stop, even if you're wrong, it's kind of one of those things where you're like, all right, I'm wrong, but, right? But I got stopped out. I learned my lesson. But, when you're buying a bunch of swing positions, you'll have to be careful. So a couple things that I think we should put on the watch list here. I think on the long side, I want to trade this UPST. We're in a little bit of a mini box on this one. But you can see on a long-term basis, this thing has still got a nice crushy. It did fade off yesterday, but I think that's probably just a one-time thing. Let's see if we kind of hold into this 36 zone. If we I think we could potentially take out this 39 at some point in the next day or two. Ideally, if it waited for us, that would be significantly better, but it may not be, right? We have Amazon here. Amazon gapping up again here, right? Gapping up again here. It's remounted the 200-day moving average. Now you're into the 20-day. We've got this gap to fill here. So this is another one like you've got some awesome heat on it, but you're going to need to get a pull. So, one thing to watch with this Amazon is if it starts to come back into this kind of zone, then I think we can play. You don't want to chase it up $5 today because its ATR is just 7, but I think it's got a good look to it. We got to hit it on a pull. If we need some shorts, right? If it needs some shorts, I'm over in Florida, baby. I'm not just in Florida. I'm in the Redneck Riviera over here in the Panhandle. Great place. Etsy. We had a nasty down day yesterday, all-day trender. Let's watch this one. It's popping right back into resistance. If we need a short, I think this one's actually got a nice location. We may be able to fizzle this thing out back down into the lows. I like the overall look on it. This thing is hot right here. Thank you, Mom. This thing is hot right here. Look at this SG. So SG had earnings out here. Now you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of consolidation right under this kind of 35, 36 zone of love. This thing is pretty hot. I'd hit this thing. If it gets kind of 35, 50, 35, 40, I think that we're going to have ourselves a good location, especially with all the market heat. This particular day at earnings, it moved on 17 million shares in volume. That is, that's a pretty good spot here. So we got a good spot on this bad boy. Let's keep it going. I like it. Now, this is probably out of the tech stocks. This is my favorite. The reason it's my favorite, this move right here, this primary move right here, this was on earnings here. And then we've had a couple days of consolidation as we kind of grind back into this. these stocks that tend to kind of break out of these $100 ranges, they usually have a little bit of juice, and you got upside to about 112. Hey, Bigger Trace, what's up, baby? Hey, I appreciate all the support over the years. Yeah, he's a little cutie. I don't know where he is, but he's running around cuckooing at people. He's doing a lot of cuckooing. He's a very naughty boy in the mornings. Now, going back to this $100, dude, and then we break 102. I mean, we're partying, all right? LBB, this is another one I like actually on the short side. So look at this. This stock is just getting pummeled. It's what it does is it just kind of spikes down and chills, spikes down, chills. I think any kind of pop back into this, I'd keep an eye on this ALB. If it pops back into kind of 74, 75, let's watch and see if this thing rolls over. You'll have a good location on this, and dude, we might actually have ourselves a little bit of fun. So let's roll with this one. Boom, 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 boom. I like that. I like that. Kava's got a breakout on it. Look, this needs a rest day. You know, we've been putting this on the watch list for a few days. It needs one rest day, what we'd call an inside day. An inside day is when you have the thrust, and then you just have a day where you just chill and do nothing, right? It'll be in a tight range. If it chills and does nothing today, so say it just kind of sits around and like right here today, it really sets up for a nice kind of move in the mañanas. So I like the overall look of this bad boy. Let's get this thing partying, and we're going to have ourselves some fun. Dude, that's a good look right there. And then, of course, old Intel here. We got still a bear flag that's developing here. You know, one of the things we kind of keep mind of on Intel is if it does not in the next week or two break these 19 lows, it's probably might bottom out for a period of time. It's one of those stocks where so much bad news has just been cooked in. You know, they are selling, I believe, at less than book value now. I was just reading that somewhere the other day. So the business essentially just valued at nothing, right? Cash. At some point, you know, if it doesn't break these lows, I think you're actually probably going to come in and have yourself a little hootenanny to the upside. Now, look, it's a slow one, so you'd have to swing trade it, but I think you can. I think you might be able to do some good stuff on it. So I'd keep an eye on this. And if it doesn't break the lows, I think you're going to be in a good spot. Pan W, 345 breakout. Could use a rest day here, but you're testing. You got yourself a good spot on this bad boy. Let's roll into this thing. Guys, yeah, so it'll be all day Saturday. I think we start like first thing in the morning. Dude, we'll be covering futures, options, trading performance, trading psychology. I will be giving you some special primers on how I trade momentum, and then I use options to kind of supercharge the results. So like when I'm in the chat room, if we're trading large cap names, for example, you know, what I usually, if it's like NVIDIA or, you know, Amazon or, you know, any of these kind of names, you know, I always trade the weekly options on them. And, dude, they fucking move around like small caps. And so, you know, a lot of times if you're sitting there like, damn, these stocks are slow, why would anybody trade them? Dude, you juice them with the options, and they end up being pretty damn fun. So we're going to have a little hootenanny on it on Friday. Guys, enjoy the day. Let's go do what we do, which is